That's a scarcity mindset. That is a victim mindset, quite frankly, a victim mindset. You can be successful at any brokerage. You really can. It doesn't matter. Great agents are great agents no matter where they're at. Hey, what's up, everyone? This is the Elite Realtor Experience Podcast, a podcast dedicated to agents ready to take the next step in becoming elite. And I want to hit very quickly the reality of a lot of real estate agents when it comes to why you think you're not doing well. And a lot of times what people will immediately default to is, my brokerage must not be providing what I need in order to be successful. See, we're always looking for excuses and reasons externally as to why we're not having the level of success that we think we should have, that we want to have. And instead of looking internally to what we're doing, we start to look externally. And a couple of things I want to mention when it comes to blaming external things and tying that the correlation to, well, it must be my brokerage's fault. One thing I want to mention is that clients, customers, the community as a whole, they don't care what brokerage you're at. That's a reality. And a lot of brokers and owners and managers aren't going to like me saying that. And I'm a brokerage owner myself. So I would love to latch on to the statement that the community cares about the brokerage that you're at. But the reality is they don't care. And so with that in mind, we as agents, we sit back and we think, well, I'm not having the level of success that I want to have because my brokerage must not be providing me the things that I need in order to be successful. So we immediately start to think through, okay, so is it time for me to switch brokerages then? Is it time for me to move on because I'm not having the level of success that I want to have? Therefore, it must be my broker's fault. It must be my company's fault. I must not be getting what I need out of my brokerage in order to be successful. It's their fault. Does that sound familiar? Gosh, open houses stink because nobody shows up, so it's their fault. FSBOs are a terrible source of lead generation because they never convert and they just won't listen. They're so hard-headed, it's their fault. I'm not being successful because my brokerage is not giving me what I need. It's their fault. As real estate professionals, and really I'm going to say humanity as a whole, we don't like to take ownership and responsibility for the success or failures that we're having in life. We always want to blame somebody else. And the number one thing that agents blame typically is their brokerage. And thus you get brokerage hoppers or jumpers, as I like to call them. They're the folks that have been in real estate for 5 years and they've been at 7 or 8 different companies. Because they're always, instead of looking internally at their habits, at their routines, at whether they're time blocking, whether they're prospecting, lead generating, they're not looking at that. They're looking at, well, it must be my brokerage because they're not giving me enough leads. They're not giving me enough qualified leads. They're not giving me the tools that I need in order to be successful. And so a lot of other brokerage owners, very wisely, recruiters, they will latch on to that. A great line for a recruiter from a real estate company is, look, we don't want to be your choice right now, but we want to be your next first choice. That's a brilliant line. What a great line, because recruiters and owners know you as real estate professionals think that you're not successful because it's your brokerage's fault. And I'm here to tell you today, it's not your brokerage's fault. It's not. Your success is your success. Your lack of success is your lack of success, and it's not your brokerage's fault. Now, let me step back for just a minute and say this. There are times when a brokerage change, a change of scenery, can be a good thing. No doubt about it. I mean, you'll see agents that are kind of doing okay at one company, and then they hop over to another, and all of a sudden their business explodes. Sometimes it's okay and it's necessary and it makes sense for agents to move from this company to this company. A lot of times you'll get a great sales pitch from a company that they're going to promise you all these things and they don't deliver on that. If that's the case and you feel a switch is necessary, then you should switch. Sometimes things happen internally inside a brokerage that you feel are unfair. Maybe there's miscommunication on whose client belonged to who, and you didn't feel like your broker or your manager handled it correctly, and it really rubs you the wrong way, and therefore it's difficult to work in that environment. And so you move on. Makes sense. Those things happen on a daily basis. That I get. But what I never understand is the agent that has poor habits, that does not have habits that lead to success, or even any sort of strategic plan on a daily basis to be successful, thinking that it's their brokerage's fault, therefore I'm going to switch and move on to a different company. If that's your mindset, you have a failure mindset. And it does not matter what real estate company you go to, you will not be successful. If you are not taking ownership of where you're at in your business and the success that you have or lack of success that you have, no brokerage is going to solve that problem for you. No amount of motivation is going to solve that for you. No amount of leads generated for you is going to solve that for you. If your habits suck, if your mindset sucks, if your routine sucks, you're not going to be successful. Does not matter how awesome the brokerage is or isn't. There are highly successful agents at brokerages that you're like, how is she doing so well there? And there are agents that are terrible at very, very successful brokerages that have every tool in the world. And the only difference is that agent's mindset. So my plea to you today, and this is a shorter podcast and it's time for a shorter podcast, is that it's not your brokerage's fault that you're not having the level of success that you want to have. I know you want to blame it on your brokerage. You want to have a scapegoat. You want to have somebody to point the finger to or at. And I get it. I get it. But please hear me. Look internally before you look externally. If you are not daily lead generating, that's your fault. If you're not daily having real estate conversations, it's your fault you're not being successful. Your brokerage probably has a lot of tools that you don't even realize that are there to help you and assist you in having conversations and assist you in generating leads. But if you're not actively focusing on having conversations, generating leads, setting appointments, going on appointments, getting involved in the community, reaching out to your sphere on a daily basis, having multiple lead generating sources, if you're not doing those things, time blocking them and scheduling them into your day, that's not your brokerage's fault. It's not. And no brokerage is going to single-handedly make you successful. We, inside my brokerage, I feel like have absolutely every single tool that every agent could ever want or desire. I mean, we have more than we need, way more than we need. But at the end of the day, those tools are not going to make the agents in my brokerage successful. They're just not going to. The things that are going to make the agents inside my brokerage successful are their habits, are their routines, are their daily practices, their lead generation sources, their lead generation scheduling. That's what's going to make them successful. And then it's my job to come alongside them with these tools to help motivate them, to help them stay on the correct path, to help hone in their skills. But my job is to refine and to motivate. It's their job to get out and do the work. And that, if you're not willing to do the work, that's not your brokerage's fault. You're an independent contractor. You're a 1099 self-employed individual. You are a business owner, a CEO. And a lot of times you view yourself still as an employee and not as a CEO. And I think as a good CEO, a good CEO, if their company is flailing and failing and not succeeding in the way that they want it to succeed, a good CEO is not looking to blame everybody else. They start with themselves. What am I not doing? What habits do I not have? What routines do I need to cultivate? Where do I need to shift first? And if you then shift into the habits and things that you need to be doing on a daily basis and something still doesn't feel right, then maybe it's time for a brokerage switch. No doubt. No doubt. But if you yourself are not doing the things on a daily basis to be successful, then quit blaming external things and look inside yourself first. What do I need to change? What do I need to do different? What are the things that I am not doing that I should be doing? And when I start doing these things, if it still doesn't feel right, then maybe it's time for a switch. But just immediately thinking, well, I'm not being successful, so therefore it must be my brokerage's fault, that is faulty thinking. That's a scarcity mindset. That is a victim mindset, quite frankly, a victim mindset. You can be successful at any brokerage. You really can. It doesn't matter. Great agents are great agents no matter where they're at. Different brokerages offer different things, no doubt about it, and always do your research and always make sure you know that you're in a spot that culturally fits you. But at the end of the day, if you're not doing the things on a daily basis you need to do to be successful, then your brokerage, there's nothing they can do for you. So look internally first. Analyze what you're doing first. I have a feeling that's the problem. The problem is you're not doing the things on a daily basis you need to do to be successful. Your brokerage is there to help refine you when you are doing the things on a daily basis you need to do to be successful. They can't force you to be successful. They can't force you to do the daily things you need to do. Only you can do that. So start there. Stop blaming everybody else. Stop blaming everything else for your lack of success. Look at yourself first. Become self-aware of what you're doing and what you're not doing. And then you can start to look externally to see if there's somewhere else that might fit you best. Quit being company jumpers. Stop it. Stop. That's a bad look for you. A very bad look. Get somewhere, cultivate your skills, have successful daily habits, and then if there's another fit that's better for you, then go. But quit blaming your brokerage for your lack of success. Catch you on the next one.